Hey ladies, it's Victoria. Thanks so much for coming back to my channel. I haven't showered yet, hence the way I look, but I thought I'd do kind of like a mini day in the life, get ready for Thanksgiving kind of video, along with an update. I finally have my new iPhone. I can't get the 6 until March when I do for my upgrade, but I was able to turn in for my insurance to get another 5. So yay for being back. But I kind of wanted to show you guys what we're dealing with outside at the moment. It's pretty crazy. So hold on. I don't know how well you guys can see this, but it's crazy outside right now. The snow has been coming down. It actually started off as like a ton of rain this morning. And so the streets were super slushy because it kind of started to freeze, and now the temperatures have dropped a lot. And it's been snowing like this since about probably 9 o'clock or so this morning. So it's pretty crazy out there. But I'm going to head upstairs to get a shower, and then I'll be back with an update about what's going on. And I'm also going to show you guys how to make my homemade pumpkin pie 100% from scratch. So I'll be back in a little bit. Bye. Trying to get everything ready for Thanksgiving can be so stressful. How are you guys doing with that? You know, I'm not cooking the full meal. We're going to be at Jason's family's house, but we're still providing a lot of things. And I don't have a car today because my husband drives a little tiny Fiat 500 Abarth, and in this ridiculous weather, I told him he was not allowed to drive that car today. So he has my car, and so I'm kind of stuck at my house. And I'm just so tired because I'm kind of coming down with something. I'm not really sick, but it's just enough to run me down, and I'm just exhausted. So that doesn't help things any. But tomorrow's Thanksgiving, and I'm excited for that. And I hope you guys all have awesome Thanksgivings, and I want to hear about your meals and what you're thankful for. So leave that in the comment box down below. I just kind of wanted to do an update for you guys as to how things are going with IVF, what our plan is, what's changed, what's new. So if you guys had watched my last couple of videos, you know that we were going to hold off a few months for IVF because while my insurance is amazing and is going to cover IVF, it doesn't cover the freezing fee, the storage fee, the PGD testing. So that right there is like $8,000 already out of pocket. And I'm sure there's going to be some incidentals that insurance won't cover either. I'm not really sure how my medications are going to play out either. So we're still waiting on that one as well. But that's kind of, you know, where we were. So we wanted to give ourselves a few months to kind of put some money aside so that we didn't have to put it all on credit cards, you know, and hopefully arrange some sort of payment plan. Well, that all changed on Thursday when I got a phone call from my insurance company, well, not from my insurance company, from my broker, saying that I should switch insurance plans for next year because my rate is going way up. And of course, I immediately had a panic attack. I'm already paying almost $500 a month for my insurance. We're paying almost $300 a month for my husband's. So $800 a month goes to insurance already, and it's already difficult enough to afford. So he told me my insurance is going to be now almost $700 a month, which is just insane. We're going to be paying over $1,000 a month now for the two of us, which is just, it's ridiculous. Between that, our rent, and our car payments, we're going to be spending pretty much everything that I make, plus a little bit of Jason's on those three things, which to me is just kind of ridiculous. And I wish that, you know, a lot of people say, oh, you should just move. Well, it's not that easy. You know, in this area, you typically have to have first, last, and security, so you have to have 3 months worth. The area that we live in is pretty expensive because of the school districts and just being in Chester County. It's just the way it is, and we really can't move out of the county because of our jobs. It's a catch-22, and so it's not as easy to just pick up and move as one might think it would be. So because of all that, we've done a lot of talking and we pretty much decided that we have to do IVF right away. We're just going to have to work out a payment plan or put everything on a credit card. So we're hoping to start IVF this next cycle, which hopefully starts in the next week or so. I'm not really sure. I haven't been tracking this month. I've just kind of been enjoying a mental break from everything. So, yeah, we're going to be starting IVF, which is crazy. I have to call my clinic on Friday just to kind of talk to them about everything and make sure everything's in place and all of our ducks in a row and paperwork's ready to go. But we have to start. We don't have a choice. So that's where we are with IVF. A lot of you have messaged me asking how I'm doing, and that is so nice of you guys. I always promise to be 100% honest with you, and I've debated talking about this because I'm sure some people are not going to look very favorably upon this. My old self, as in a few months ago, would have viewed someone else saying what I'm about to say very negatively, so I'm well aware that I'll probably be judged for this. But I am having a very, very difficult time being around children and seeing pregnant people and talking to pregnant people. I've literally had, and I use literally too much, I apologize. I've had multiple breakdowns. I'm just going to be honest. I mean, complete and utter, total, on the floor, sobbing, can't control myself breakdowns. And it's so hard because, as I've said, one of my best friends is pregnant right now, and I did so well until she sent me her first ultrasound picture. Prior to that, I was legitimately excited. There was no jealousy, nothing, no being upset, nothing. I was genuinely over the moon. But the second she sent me that ultrasound picture and everything's perfect, and I'm so glad for her, but I lost it. I cried the rest of the day because, and not that I want her to be like me. I don't want anyone to think that at all. It's just, it's so hard, when you've been trying for almost 4 years, like we have, we're coming up on 4 years in February. You're supposed to keep the faith and keep pushing, and it gets really hard. And, she'd been so devastated that they hadn't gotten pregnant, but exactly a year to the day she got pregnant, since they started trying. And I've said this before, nobody's journey is any less difficult or any more difficult than anyone else's, and the pain is the same to everyone, because if it doesn't take you 4 years to get pregnant, you don't know that. If it only takes you a year, then that's what you know, and it's just as difficult to you as it is to someone who's been trying for 4 years, because you don't, it's nobody's journey is any more important or any more difficult. I do believe that, but at the same time, it's so hard to watch all these other people get what I want. And I know we're closing in on IVF, which is so exciting, and I have really high hopes for success with IVF, but at the same time, I feel like I'm kind of jaded too. And I'm trying not to cry. Because I know the stories, and I know how many people still don't find success with IVF, and we have just had the worst I don't mean worst as far as our track record's worse than anyone else's. I just mean as far as our history goes, we have had terrible luck, and it's been one awful thing after another, and we just can't hit a point of smooth sailing. And I don't expect things to be perfect or easy for that matter, but I would just like things to figure themselves out for 5 seconds. I don't know. So I'm terrified that IVF isn't going to work, and I don't know. It's really hard. It's really, really hard. And I'm so scared. Good morning. It's actually Thanksgiving now. I decided not to make my pies last night. We were just too tired. So I decided I'd do them this morning quickly before we head out to Jason's parents. And I wanted to share this recipe with you guys because it's 100% from scratch. So I'm going to go get a few things ready and I will be right back. Alrighty guys, we're 100% set up to make 2 homemade pumpkin pies 100% from scratch. So I have all of my ingredients laid out and ready to go. I like to do this just because it makes it go that much faster. So let me tell you what we have. We have 2 cups. This is homemade or homemade. This is real pumpkin. We bought a whole pumpkin. It's one of the hook neck pumpkins. They're more like a tan kind of color, and those are the ones that you actually use for pumpkin pie. We bought one of those back in October, and I cut it up into cubes and boiled it and then froze it so that I could just pull it out this morning. We put it through a food processor to get everything evened out. So we have 2 cups of homemade, I keep saying homemade, of real pumpkin. We have 2 freshly beaten eggs. We have 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar. In here we have 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of ginger, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg. We have a whole can of evaporated milk, and this is just the Carnation brand, but it really doesn't matter. It's just what was on sale. So that's all for our filling. And then for our crust, it's actually pretty simple. We have 1 1/4 cups, or 1 1/3 cups, I'm sorry, of all-purpose flour. We have a teaspoon of salt, and then I add a whole teaspoon of cinnamon. That's my own little touch to give the crust some flavor so it's not so boring. And then we have 1/2 cup of shortening, and there are 2 different kinds because I was a little bit short. So I have my whole setup ready to go. My oven is set to 400 degrees, and I have my pie pans already greased and floured and ready to go. As you can see, there's one of them. So we're going to start with making the crust, and I have my trusty KitchenAid mixer. Of course, you don't need a KitchenAid mixer, but I just like to use mine for this. So we're going to take the flour, cinnamon, and salt mixture and put it in to the mixer. So that goes in the mixer first. And we put this down, lock it. And I always like to give that a few stirs just to get it mixed up good before I put anything else in. So there we go. And then we are to cut the shortening into it as we're mixing. So basically you put it in just a little bit at a time. So here's my plate of shortening. Get this going. And then I just take a little bit at a time and mix it in. If you put it all in at once, it tends to clump up really badly and doesn't distribute the ingredients as evenly. Oh, sorry. So I'll be right back once all this is mixed. Alright, so I finished cutting in all the shortening, and as you can see, there's still some clumps, but that's okay. Those are going to come out when we add our next ingredient. So I'm just letting that mix up nicely. And then this bowl has 4 tablespoons of cold water. You may not need the whole thing, but I've never needed more than 4, so I always just start there. And you just put this in a little bit at a time. You just want to do this until the dough can stick together on its own. Sorry about that, guys. Of course I get a phone call in the middle of this. So as you can see, the dough is now sticking together nicely, and I still have some water left, so I didn't need the whole thing. So we're just going to go ahead and stop that. You'd never want to over mix it. So next we're gonna go ahead and get this rolled out into our pie crust form. So I'll be right back when everything's ready. All right, so we have our dough ball on a lightly floured counter with a lightly floured rolling pin, and we're just gonna roll this out into our pie crust shape. I'm not gonna make you sit here and watch this whole thing, so I'll be back once I get it into my pie pan. Alright guys, I got both of my pie crusts made and ready to go, so now we're going to make the filling. I make it in the same mixer, I just changed to my whisk attachment for this. And this is super easy because everything just goes in together. So we add our pumpkin. I should have brought a spatula. Well, I'll finish getting that off in just a second. Pumpkin. We add our 2 beaten eggs. Let that drain out a little bit so we get it all. We add our cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger, and salt. That all goes in. And we add our 3/4 of a cup of packed brown sugar. I ran out of measuring cups, so I just did it in 2. So there's that. And we also add 1 can of evaporated milk. And this is going to look like a super liquidy mixture. Even as you're mixing it, it's not going to look like it's ever going to solidify, but trust me, it will. So hold on 1 second here. I'm going to get the rest of the pumpkin in, and I'll be right back. Alright, we're going to go ahead and mix this up now that everything's in there. I just turn it on nice and low. Last time my husband made the mistake of turning the blender on really high when we were making this, and it shot everywhere. So I start lower and then move up a little bit to more of a medium speed. And this is why last time we didn't put the pumpkin through the food processor, and it was really like stringy almost from the pumpkin. So it's really important you put it through the food processor to get a nice consistency that'll turn out well. I mean, the last pie still tasted good, it just didn't have the best consistency. So there's our mixture. And like I said, it looks really, really runny, obviously, but I promise it'll be just fine. So we go ahead and unhook our bowl. And we're just going to dump this right into our pie crust. Pumpkin pie. Voila. So there we go. So I'm going to go ahead and make the other pie, and then you just throw these in the oven at 400 degrees for about 40 minutes. My oven takes a little longer, a little closer to an hour to finish up. And that's it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe, and I'm going to film some more later at Thanksgiving, so I'll see you soon. Hey guys, we're on our way to Jason's parents. Here's Jason.
Happy Thanksgiving!
Happy Thanksgiving. So we've got our pies, and he made a Brussels sprout thing. What is that thing that you made?
It's braised Brussels sprouts made with hard apple cider and bacon.
Yum. So we're on our way to his parents' house right now. They live literally walking distance down the road, about what, half a mile?
About that. About a mile.
Well, okay, maybe a mile.
3/4 of a mile.
Whatever, somewhere between half and a mile, I guess. So here's what it looks like outside. The snow's already started to melt. It's been too warm this week, so we kind of expected this would happen, but what we do still have is pretty. So I'll talk to you guys later when we're getting ready for dinner. Bye.
She's talking. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. For this year, Carolyn, I think we all needed a change of venue.
I feel so far away from everything.
Just take a little bit of everything, because by the time you get it on your plate, I noticed you have your jacket on there.
I'm just out smoking. told him earlier, I said, butt fumble's going to be playing the game.
Butt fumble.
Hi,
Sick, Jez. He is, there was a play that...
Hey guys, good morning. It is now Friday, Black Friday, aka the day after Thanksgiving. I am driving to work. Yes, I am one of those, oops, sorry, my finger's just in the way. I'm one of those lucky people who gets to work today, but that's okay. I do love my job. So I really didn't get to finish my vlog yesterday. I actually have had a cold, and by the end of yesterday, I was feeling so terrible, and today I'm really just trying to pretend that I feel fine. But I woke up with 103 fever, and I just feel pretty crappy, but I'm gonna try to get through the day. But I just wanted to end the vlog by letting you guys know how thankful I am for all of you and how much you guys all mean to me. I've been on this journey with YouTube for almost a year now, and I've learned so much and met so many amazing people, and I'm just so thankful for all of you guys. And I'm saying lots of prayers for all of us for 2015, that this will be our year to make things happen and that we all get our take-home babies in 2015. Fingers crossed, you guys. This is gonna be our year. I just know it. So anyhow, I'm gonna let you guys go. I know this is a longer vlog, but I hope you, and sorry about the sun, I hope you guys enjoyed seeing a little bit of, you know, my life and seeing some of my family members. Sorry I didn't vlog more at Thanksgiving. They just aren't that big into the camera. But that was my husband's family that you got to see, and it was nice spending time with all of them. It's our first Thanksgiving without my husband's grandmother. She passed away in May. So it was a rough day, but it was also a wonderful day for everyone to be together and just remember her and celebrate all the things that we're thankful for. So I will see you guys in my next video, which should be an IVF update because I am calling the clinic today to get everything rolling. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.